to the Great Blacks in Wax Open Forum. So folks, there's a lot of things going on around in Baltimore. Why don't you take a look at this?
He was a great dog. Old Prince was a great dog. I mean, you'd have to read it to get everything, but I have never come across a dog in my life. So this dog and was as loving as dog, but he was, I guess men are a lot, besides being dogs sometimes, I think men are a lot like dogs because my uncle died in his front yard. He froze to death, but his dog was sitting his head the whole time until somebody came in freezing weather. And I just know that he looked up and said, well, Skippy, this is all a rope. You know, because, and I think men for the most part, I know we get a bad rap, okay, but I think if we understood each other better, the whole world would function better. Really.
Okay, now I'm going to ask an honorary question. You had 17 pages for the dog. Mm-hmm. How many pages did each wife get?
The first wife has about 80 or 90.
Hi, my name is Jonathan. Yes, I have a question also. Speaking from a man's point of view, I find that finding a heterosexual relationship has been such a wonderful thing to me. I am very happily married to my wife. I wonder, in your book, do you leave room there for that heterosexual man to go on into the next segment of his life, the next story? Is there a sequel?
Well, Jonathan, I hope the sequel was a long, happy relationship with the first woman you're with. That's everybody's hope. Of course, statistics don't bear that out. And I've been married 3 times, and the statistics fell right into place for me. 50% of the first marriage end in divorce, 75% of the second marriages end in divorce, and 85% of the third marriages are successful. Now, hopefully you'll be in the 50% in front, you don't have to worry about that. There is a real situation with being single in midlife. And the sequel to this book is in the problems of being single in midlife. I was single for 16 years before I got married the 3rd time. And so that, in my case, would be the follow-up to it. And after that period, my 3rd marriage is another book altogether. And that involves the internet, the INS, and a few other things. But as I said, if at first you don't succeed, try again. But that's a sequel. Men aren't any different than women. They don't give up unless they have to. Now, it's very difficult for women after they're 40 to find a man, because one of the problems, and I think this is what I address in here, is men do give up. I mean, if they've had a problem, if they've run into with dealing with women, after they're 40, it's very difficult to get them back up the altar if they're decent men. And most of the good guys are probably taken that want to be taken by the time they're 40. That's just the facts of life. So I think the more women understand men, the more those things change, and the more the availability after that. And that is my sequel. But the bottom line is, I'll die an optimist, because I just think that it's worth going for. A relationship, a healthy, strong relationship is worth fighting for. It's worth searching for, etc.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's good, as far as I'm concerned, it's good to know that men do feel that way. And
I think a lot of them do.
For the same thing.
And if they don't, it's because society in some way or another has changed them. And maybe we have to depend on women to look at this now. We have to depend on women on everything else. So maybe we can depend on this too.
Okay, well, look for this. Barnes & Noble and Amazon.
Anywhere there's a computer, you can find it. In bookstore, you can get it anywhere. It's distributed worldwide.
And this is Charles Rick.
Thank you.
Look for Potter's Wheel.
Hi, my name is Carolyn, and I just wanted to say that listening to the book really sounds interesting. But as a reader, when I read a book, after I finish, I feel this loss, because I usually connect with at least one of the characters. So is there anyone in particular in your book that you relate to and you sense you write a book?
Well, let me say this. I originally wrote the book in the third person. My son, who is my worst critic, my best critic, and so forth, said, and I had over a third written. He said, you've got to go back and rewrite it in first person. Okay, now some people said, well, the other characters, when you're writing in first person, it's very difficult to bring other characters out. However, most women relate to the problems that and they were rather severe at all levels. And the first wife in this book comes through with, I don't want to ruin it for you. Anyway, they relate to her, and I relate, obviously I relate to the main character, Potter, because I based his feelings. See, this is a book about feelings. Okay, and what I did was try to take events and things that happened in the world. I even referred to the day Star Trek was canceled because it impacted me. It was the first decent show on TV, and all of a sudden we had 3 assassinations, and Star Trek was canceled. I said, what's going on in this country? I don't mean to make light of assassinations, but it was like the straw. And this is the type of thing I'm talking about, and the emotion and the feelings are what's in the book. And that's what I tried to do, and I think this is the reason why people, especially women, relate to it is because what you're going to get in there is my outlook, my feelings, my perspectives on a lot of different things. And I think this is rather unique, and I've been told it's rather unique. And I think any woman from any culture, my piano teacher, I played classical piano, my piano teacher's from Taiwan, and she said the book affected her tremendously. That's from a totally different culture. Okay, and I mean a totally different culture. She married a Russian and half her family didn't show up. So, she understood, there are conservative things, socially conservative things in every part of our society, no matter what part you're from. And that's what basically, of course, is the fight besides the fact of the men and women.
Okay. I have a question as well. When the men read this, who have read this, do they get after you about reading this?
No, actually, I'll just be quite truthful with you. The men do not relate to it. And I think part of it is the reason that they don't understand themselves.
Or I read a book recently by someone who was about sharing his feeling. And he did get flack from men because he didn't want to be understood that well. I mean, he wanted really to relate to other men so that they could begin to understand that there are men who don't have a problem crying, who don't have a problem expressing his soulmate or his significant other, how he feels about things. There's no shame or condemnation for feeling that way.
I will speak to just man-woman relationship for the moment. I think that it's a man-man, woman-woman relationship, but what I'm going into here is man-woman relationship. And I don't think there's a man alive that's heterosexual and wants a man-woman relationship that doesn't want to have a good, loving relationship. I don't think there's a person alive that doesn't want a good, loving relationship. And anything that can bring him to that point, I think is vital. Now, any man who says he's afraid of giving away secrets or anything like that, I think he's just blowing smoke. I mean, seriously. Because love is important to everybody. A relationship is important to everybody. And maybe some men don't want to talk about it, but I guarantee you, deep down in their heart, it's important for you.
Well, folks, as I said, Potter's Wheel, excellent book to talk about. Tell folks how they can get a copy of it.
Well, you can read more about it. The artist that did the cover of the book also developed a beautiful website for me. It's called potterswheelnovel.com, www.potterswheelnovel.com. And from there you can go, it's available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any bookstore in the country that has a computerized system can get a copy of it. Or you can go to my website and just click on Amazon, it'll take you right there.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you for joining
me. Thank you, I appreciate it.
I really want to get to this and find out about it myself.
Well, let me know if you do. And I'd love to have any reaction from anybody. On my website, there's a blog you can go to, there's an email address for me, and I'm open for discussion. We can have discussions on the blog, we can do anything.
Wonderful. maybe I'll come up with a book club and we'll start doing these kind of things and reviewing
I appreciate it.
things like this,
Thank
so
you.
we can talk about relations. Thank you
Thank
again
you
for
so much.
coming. We'll be right back.
This piece is actually a true piece. It's entitled The 11th of July. Be real quiet and listen about the day I cried, the day my heart was opened wide, and what I felt inside had no pride, as all that I had left was crushed and dried, when before my eyes on the 11th of July my family almost left my side and died beside me. The 11th of July, forever in my mind as the day I cried, second in sadness only to the day I realized my wife, my bride, 11 years by my side, no longer loved me. But that's the other side of why I had nothing left inside. On this day when I cried, the 11th of July. This day was not like any other, as I sat beside the car beside my mother, and my dad got in the back with my children, sister, and brother. So few words we said to one another, still surprised that the end to our summer had come so quickly. See, we were going down to Tennessee, not in my daddy's Thunderbird, but in his Camry. At 4 in the morning at the sound of the clock ring, way before the birds sing. Temp already 73 degrees, going to do what we must, going to see. Temp already 73 degrees, going to do what we must, to see a woman I cussed because I loved her once, and then she went and broke my trust. But that's not the story tonight. This story is about a day of fright. This day started before sunlight. This day known to me as the day I cried. See, what I left inside had no pride. All dreams that I had dreamt had died. So while we were stopped at a traffic light, my heart was dark, for it had no light. I'd already given once my life, 11 years living for my wife. Death of body now would only make things right. But my children didn't know what they had in sight. Their dad, a shell of a man, had given up on life. 2 trucks hitting our car could only finish the fight. So there we were in a Virginia town. The stage was set, death could take me now. Red and black trucks racing down the street. Red tried to go through so he could defeat. But not today, for God on this street. As the trucks collided and flew into the air, they met my heart and shattered it there. Flying through the intersection, an unlikely pair. 2 pickup trucks racing time with no care. Black truck hit the pavement and his axle broke. Red slammed down too, but the driver choked. Black truck hit the pickup, stopped in front of our car. It only took a second, but every detail I saw. "Baby, watch out!" was my father's call. My mother grabbed her head and said, "Oh God!" A flash of light was what I saw. Red truck hit us and we broke his fall. He screeched to a stop, almost at the wall. People in the store screamed at the sight of it all. When the world stopped spinning and I looked around, I looked at my mother's legs, prepared to shout. What I expected to see had even grossed me out. I expected a pair of bloody, twisted sprouts. But God was with us that day, no doubt. Still in shock, I glanced at the scene. 5 vehicles hit, damaged terribly. The truck beside us was leaking. "Oh my God, it's leaking gas! Get out fast!" But it was okay. Only a water can had fallen. Nobody dies today. I knelt down on the curb to pray, and that's when it hit me. God had planned it that way. See, the man that hit us was really saved from certain destruction when we got in the way. Just behind us was where the gas station lay. And a convenience store still stands to date, and by our getting in the way, many lives were saved. But that's not why I was there at all. I was there to realize my blessings and all. Boy and girl about so and so. And then I cried. And I cried. And I cried. And I cried. My heart opened wide, and what I felt was pride. My children were here, standing by my side. Our car was broke. We bought a price. But my family, yes, was still alive. And I'll never forget the day I cried, the 11th of July.
Annie, I want to thank you for joining us today. Oh, it's so nice to have you here. What did you have for us today? What did you come to share with us?
Well, since Kwanzaa is about family, I thought it would be really awesome to teach you a really nice dance that you can do when the kids get around, your family members, even for the adults. Would you like to try it? A little music and movement.
Okay, sure.
It's called Kiki Kola. And basically, we do music and it's instrumental. Okay. Okay, so the name of this is called Kiki Kola. And this is a folk type of dance that they do in Nigeria, Africa, or whatever.
Okay.
And it's a wonderful thing that you do with your family instead of just sitting around eating until you're full and busting open. This is a nice way to just kind of exercise everything up, okay?
Okay, now.
You up here?
Okay.
Kiki Kola. It's in the hip. Kiki Kola. Kiki Kofasa. Kiki Kofasa. Kofasa Lenga. Kofasa Lenga. Hakasha Lenga. Hakasha Lenga. Kumari Day. Kumari Day. Hey! Okay. I think we know it now. One more time. Take it from the top. Here we go. Kiki Kola. Kiki Kola. Kiki Kofasa. Kiki Kofasa. Kofasa Lenga. Kofasa Lenga. Kumari Day. Kumari Day. Kumari Day.
Okay, Annie, thank you for that wonderful dance.
Oh,
Can you,
you're welcome.
Can you tell us how can we get you to come and do you go to parties or?
Oh, yes. In fact, I'm doing a show at the Home Depot in Owensville this Saturday, don't you know?
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, you can reach me at 410-464-2213.
Oh, that's great. And you have a lot of things coming up over the holidays for you?
Yes, I have a children's book coming out actually full of finger plays,
Right.
songs, inspirational things, things that are educational, saying no to drugs and all those wonderful things to empower the children, especially in our Black community.
Okay, well, how are they going to get hold of this book? Why don't you give us your
Sure.
phone number?
They can call me at 410-464-2213.
Excellent. And say again one more time, where are you going to be this weekend?
I'm going to be at the Home Depot in Owensville. It's a private party, so you guys can't come.
That's too bad.
And then I'll be at the American Legion and so many other places. But they're private parties, you know, celebrating because it's the holiday. Okay, and also I'll be featured on the Children's Corner. Yay!
You all have seen that's a wonderful experience.
Right here on the other one.
Well, we're all over.
You'll cut that one.
That means she's been very busy.
And that was it was shot at the Magic Fun House on Eastern Avenue.
I think you're absolutely beautiful.
Oh, well,
I
thank
would
you. I
love to wake
tried.
up on Christmas and see you. Yes.
Now, I remember you, I don't know if you remember, you were always instrumental in the community. I'm not telling her age. But we look up to people like you and you're still at it and still busy being instrumental, touching the lives of others. So it was really great when I walked in and saw you today.
Yeah, they go back to my childhood. We won't talk about how old you are. It's so good. It's so good. Plus, it's such a small world, and I love to see what you're doing.
Oh,
It's a wonderful thing for children to see that people still can have fun and be light about life.
Yeah.
You are beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I just love you. Yes, as you can see, not only, you know, we are all hyped up about Christmas, but this is also the season for Kwanzaa. And if you know anything about Kwanzaa, it is the celebration of the first fruits. Unlike most religious holidays, Kwanzaa is not really a celebration. And they come together, the family, in commemoration and reminiscing and just, you know, sort of like a Thanksgiving. And as you can see from our table setting, this is only part of what you would need to begin Kwanzaa, to appreciate the value of what God and the gifts that God has given us in order to nourish our minds and bodies. I originally had someone here to do Kwanzaa. However, I'm going to give you as much information as I can about it, so you can look forward to some Kwanzaa celebrations coming up. Kwanzaa is celebrated from December 26th through January 1st. And as I say, it's called the ingathering or the first harvest, which was an African tradition that was developed by Dr. Melena Karenga, who is a professor and chairman of the Department of Black Studies at California State in 1966. And there have been Kwanzaa celebrations all over the country ever since then. A lot of us could not do Christmas. And so it brings, and it lets us know the importance of family and of family values and the things that we should cherish and nurture, which is what we already have. And so they do that by what we call the 7 principles of Nguzo Sam, which the 7 principles by which we should live. And each day is dedicated to a principle. And that would, I'm going to share that with you, and that would be unity. Kwanzaa is a key Swahili word as well. And so there's umoja, which is unity. Uji Chakalia, which is self-determination. The third day is Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Ujama, cooperative economics. Nia, which is purpose. Kaunga, which is creativity, and the last day is Imani, which is faith, which we all should believe in our hearts that the Creator and are there for us. And so if you check through your local listings, television, radio, and newspapers to see what kinds of celebrations that are coming up in the future. You can also find out that information through here at the Great Blacks and Rex. I believe they will be celebrating Kwanzaa this year at some point in time. So I want to thank Annie for being here. I love you.
No, that's my makeup.
Oh, okay. And I just want to thank you all for coming. And we're going to take a break.
No, there's no.
We'll be right back. Well, if you like that, take a look at this.
Classes that we offer children around the state and county. ear and just twist it, you see? Bigger than the other. But you have a bear bracelet. So anything from the more extreme balloon to the more basic, and you have a
Oh my God.
you have a watch bear. See, he's gonna watch over you.
Tell them, I understand you have a clown school. You want to tell us a little bit about that and how we can,
Well, actually, you can call for appointments and all, and I'll be glad to come out and do a free orientation. And we work out group rates for customers who have groups of 15 children capacity as far as maximum. I mean, I don't do anything less than the 15, okay? Because then it's not beneficial for my time. But we have rates and everything. We offer sliding fee scales for people that need it.
and so is that contact number the same?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
410-464-2213, and it's Balloon Magic. We do a recital at the very end of the presentation. We can put a nice on top of a setting like this, columns and everything.
That is so wonderful.
You're welcome.
Thank you, baby, and thank you for my Christmas
I'm
present.
glad you like it.
And join us again at the Great Blacks and White Open Forum. I'm Margaret Locklear, and look for Annie at Home Depot.
Great, everything. So, okay, and action.
Thank you for joining us. And if you would like to be a guest on the Great Blacks and Wax Open Forum, call the number at the bottom of the screen and join us. If you have an interesting anecdote to share with us, or if you have something you want to promote from your community, just give us a call.